to this week's show. My guests this week, of course, are Mr. Phil Attridge and Mr. Norman Stewart. Sunday name, are you there? Norman? Sunday. Norrie. Also known as Norrie.
I thought it was Norris.
So today's review of First Mrs. Questions, I was actually going to suggest we actually secretly wrote on cards our scores and then held them up at the end. However, that's for another day. But we are going to review First Mrs. Questions from Holyrood. And I'll start with Phil today, I think. Phil, what did you think of Joanne Lamont's performance today?
2 words, unionist crap. Totally incoherent, actually, because she was all over the place. I mean, 10 seconds in you thought, oh, I wonder if the SNP are having a launch tomorrow. I mean, you're going to the cinema. I mean, sorry, I mean, it just didn't work. It's actually one of the worst performances I've seen. And then lauding Gordon Brown for repeating what he said, saving the world, you know, but really, I mean, that was after him and all these American monetarists and other monetarists around the world and the banking system had destroyed it. So yeah, I suppose you did do something to it.
Give it a score?
Do I have to? Today, yeah, because it was totally incoherent. I'll give it a 4 today.
I must admit I was heading there with it. Phil? Sorry, Norrie?
No, she's not getting a 4. The whole thing consisted of sound bites.
Yeah, it was.
I agree with you there, yeah.
No substance. Half the time, a rambling. She was so desperate to get, you know, dial in for Murdoch, etc. in that there was no
Well, she didn't actually.
substance to any question.
I have to say, it struck me that she accused Salmon of not answering any her questions. I never discerned any questions. She just made a speech.
She opened up. Can you actually remember what the question was? I'm sitting here without my notes, and I can't even remember what
I have
she
no
asked.
idea what
Something to do about
What would
Greece and the
Scottish
Euro.
government cope with developments
Right.
in Greece and the Euro
She knows there's going to be a meeting. There's going to be a debate next Wednesday.
in Holyrood?
So what does she want? She wants the SNP to lay it all out for her, so she's got something to slag. If you're going to debate something as important as that, you need to be constructive. So, you know, why not thank him for giving up government time for the debate on a subject that's very important? No, it's all slag. Get the boots in. It's just petty.
trouble is the boots
Petty
didn't even fit, did they?
Wobbly.
You know,
So no, you're giving her nothing.
I'm giving her a -2 for making the Labour Party look stupid.
I have to admit, I was considering not considering. I'd already decided I was going to give her below 5. That was for sure, because she normally gets a wee bit better than that. But I have to agree with just about everything that's been said. What a pile of cobblers! And I have to repeat, she didn't actually ask any clear questions. And then when you stand there and give a speech, and then you say, "Oh, but you didn't answer my question," And anyway, it was full of stuff that Alex Salmon was able to shoot down. So. Well, let's move on to. Did I give her a score yet?
No.
2.
2.
Right, Phil. Let's move on to Ruth Davidson, who thought she had a good one again.
Well, she did start off. The first bit was actually quite promising when she said about the cinema. Is he going to see the 2 films, Dark Shadows and Dictator?
Dictator.
Yeah, that was kind of quite witty. And then it just got onto crass sentimentalism about the sick kids, and it's 5 times that
I
you
think crass
promised.
sentimentalism is the word. It was.
It was. There
There
was
was a stump speech where you don't expect any opposition near you. You expect your supporters to cheer.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't going to cry with the sentimentalism. You were going to look for a bucket to puke. You know?
Well, I mean, the other thing is, it's back to the same old story.
Yeah.
You know, neither the Liberals or the Tories can stand up and criticise anybody because they're busy raping the whole of the UK. When it comes to the health service, in particular, if it wasn't for the SNP, it would be a gangbang, not a rape.
Oh, yeah.
You know, how can you possibly start complaining about a government not putting capital spend out there for the sick kids or any other project when your own government, who's in charge of the purse strings, hands down a 30% cut? I mean, I feel sorry for her because, I mean, all she can really do is criticise the colour of his suit. You know,
Quite good. Come on,
because
guys,
then
give her a score for her performance.
her performance was good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll give her a
She delivers.
performance.
She looks much more professional. She looks like she knows what she's talking about. She definitely blows Lamont out of the water. So I'm going to give her I'll give her a 6 for trying really, really hard.
Well,
Phil?
I'll try and give a jab up the rear end to Labour to look for someone that can perform, and I'll give her a 7. So.
Ooh, okay. I was thinking.
Just for performance, not for content.
I'll give her a 6 because she did give, it was quite a good performance. But again, it was a bit like you're watching Joanne Lamont saying what she's saying, you're watching Ruth Davidson saying what she's saying, and you're thinking, surely they must have rehearsed this in the office beforehand. And somebody must have said to both these women, but Alex is going to say, hypocrite, which she did in both cases. And so why did they still plough on with such stupid statements? I'll tell you why. It's because the unionist press in Scotland will regurgitate it, regardless of the quality. I've noticed this. This is why they plod on with it. Week after week, the unionist press, and especially the BBC, will publish whatever they say, regardless of the weakness of the argument.
Sound bites.
Sound bites. Right, now, so Willie was up this week. Now, I thought he was quite interesting. Phil, Willie Rennie.
Well, this is going to be different. I thought Willie Rennie delivery was cool, calm, collected, and spot on. Apart from that, Salmond, and I don't believe Salmond missed it. I think he deliberately missed it. Willie Rennie was going on about the integrity of the Scottish criminal justice system that tried him, and in my opinion, fitted him up. Because the evidence, they do know that they paid huge amounts of money to the witness, £2 million. That whole bit, we could go on forever. And I think Salmond deliberately just kept skirting around, and Willie just kept his head down, and at the point that he was really concerned about the integrity of the Scottish criminal justice system.
And he had the backing of this open letter by a lot of celebrated names. Mixture of celebrities and
Salmond should
people
do
with genuine concern.
Salmond should do Scotland a favour and sort out what this appalling.
Yes, I have to agree.
He's fallen down a couple of times. Willie Rennie. I remember one week when all three of them asked the same question. Things like that. But he is definitely coming into his own now.
Yeah, it's getting better.
He's got a bit of dignity about him, a bit of gravitas about him. And that's something Lamont should learn from him, because he asks questions that are genuinely pertinent. Now, as Phil said, Salmond totally avoided what the real question was.
Never answered it.
He never asked anything about McGrackey's guilt or innocence. He was on about the actual system.
The integrity of the Scottish justice system.
And I think Salmond probably would score on an international level. Well, the SNP government, we should say,
definitely,
on an international level, if he decided to have a review of the whole thing.
And it would have to be an inquiry, public inquiry.
Yeah, but he's got nothing to lose. I don't actually understand why he's not doing it.
I have to say, he's always held this line, and I wouldn't, because he's always held this line so firmly, you end up with the suspicion that he has something to lose.
All the decisions were taken when they were out of office.
There is still, well, maybe. Anyway, well, let's have a performance rating for Mr. Rennie.
Rennie, actually, I thought he was actually, as an opposition, personally, I'll give him 8.
Ooh, well done.
Well, head to head. I think he beat Salmond today. So I'm going to give him a 9.
No, that's a good point. I was thinking about 7, but when you put it in that context, that he totally outclassed Salmond on that issue and made Salmond look like a fool, to be honest.
Yeah.
A stubborn fool. I'll go up to 8 myself on Rennie.
I was quite impressed.
Right, well, bearing that in mind, let's return to the main man, Mr. Salmond.
Oh, Salmond's going, he's going over there with Ruth. I'm putting him down to a 7. He was actually I'll stick him down even below that, because he was dishonest. In that he was dishonest. No, sorry, I thought he was actually appalling because of mine. I'll stick him down with Joanne today. I'll give him a 4.
There you go.
Well, I've got a problem, really.
He was very good with Joanne, but sorry,
he was good with Joanne. He was good with Ruth. Willie kicked him very
disingenuous.
But given his high status, one solid blow really brings him down.
It certainly did today. I definitely felt, and it didn't help when the speaker told him to shut up.
Yeah. No.
She was improving her credibility.
Well, And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm so right.
I mean, that'll be all over the papers. And the argument will be, she's the Speaker of the House, he was rambling. I noticed he shut up and then just carried straight on with what he was saying. But, you know, it's, you know, they can now argue that she is of an independent mind, you know, and they don't get to complain.
She probably watches FMQs and
Well,
John Bercow.
I'll give him a 7, still in a different league to Le Mans. But again, it's hard. I mean, he's got the football boots. The rest of them are playing in the gutties.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I have to say he's given his usual high standards, and that both Joanne and Ruth were so predictable with what their questions, that he could handle the questions with his eyes closed. I think because Rennie got a real boot in, I'm dropping him down. He goes from 9 down to 4. I'm coming down below 5. That was a very poor performance by
that
Alex
was
Salmond.
punishment, and just to make sure he doesn't do it again. I mean, that was.
I think he went at it the wrong way. He fell into that trap of lots of words, lots and lots of explanations. What he should have done was stood up and say, no, there will be no public inquiry until McGrath's family have had the opportunity.
Well, I love that line. What was that line? He's going to leave it to a family in Tripoli to examine the integrity of the Scottish justice system. Yeah. That was very good of Willie Rennie.
Willie Rennie, top of the poll.
And that is a very serious issue. Well, guys, I mean, we're running on, and thank you very much.
And I thought, Willie Rennie, top of the poll.
Top of the poll.
Who would have ever thought that a couple of weeks ago?
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.